When I was a teenager, there was a night when my parents were not at home, giving me an unprecedented sense of freedom. I was enjoying the solitude of the house, having stockpiled my favorite chips and cola, planning to play video games into the wee hours. The lights in the house were turned off one by one, leaving only the glow from the TV screen flickering in this tranquil space. I sat on the sofa, tightly gripping the PS3 controller, completely immersed in the world of the game. Time quietly slipped away in such intoxication, possibly for 3 or 4 hours, until a sudden bout of dizziness made me uncomfortable. To my left was a large window, which I had specifically drawn all the curtains over earlier to better enjoy this solitude, cutting off everything from the outside world. However, at that moment, I thought I saw a face peering in through the window, startling me. I was panic-stricken, almost falling off the sofa. My heart raced as I looked at the window again, only to see that the curtain, which should have been tightly closed, was now half open, revealing the endless darkness outside. I tried to calm myself, approaching the window with every step feeling exceptionally heavy. I pulled the curtains tight and checked the window lock, making sure it was securely locked. However, these actions didn't bring me much comfort. As my back was drenched in cold sweat, I was sure the curtains had been drawn earlier, and I was alone in the house. I dared not think further, nor did I dare to look outside the window, let alone carefully scan the living room. Standing there, my mind was in chaos. Everything around suddenly became unfamiliar and terrifying. Fear drove me to put down the game controller, and I began to move carefully, almost tiptoeing, towards the bedroom upstairs. I tried to make my breathing as gentle as possible, fearing to break the silence of the night and awaken something that should not be awakened. The hallway seemed exceptionally long, and every step of the stairs felt difficult. I struggled to remain calm, but the fear inside me was like surging waves, difficult to calm. Finally, when I reached the bedroom and quickly closed and locked the door, I felt a fragile sense of security. My heart was still racing, but at least I knew I was temporarily safe. I didn't even have the courage to turn on the bedroom light, fearing that the brightness would attract something more terrifying. I sat down in the dark, letting the silence of the night gradually soothe my mind. I tried to convince myself that it was just an illusion, perhaps caused by staring at the TV screen for too long and a lack of rest. And this self-doubt and unease, I unknowingly fell asleep. This sleep might have lasted for 2 or 3 hours, until a strong urge to urinate woke me up. I glanced at my phone in a daze and saw that it was late at night. Damn, I drank too much cola before going to sleep, and now the urge to urinate was overwhelming, making my bladder feel like it was about to burst. I don't know if you've had this experience as a teenager, but after watching a horror movie at night, I would become very afraid of going to the bathroom. My bedroom didn't have an ensuite bathroom, so I had no choice but to open the door to go to the one next door. I was afraid of seeing the face at the window again, and my bladder forced me to open the bedroom door. I tiptoed and ran quickly into the bathroom. While I was urinating half asleep, I thought I heard an almost imperceptible sound downstairs, like someone was moving quietly. My heart stopped for a moment, and all the fear surged to my head. I almost ran back to my bedroom and locked the door again. I waited nervously, hoping it was just my imagination. I texted my parents to ask if they had come back, but they didn't reply. I waited about 5 minutes, sure that the noise downstairs wasn't caused by my parents coming back early. After I returned to my bedroom, the noise downstairs stopped, and I fell into a long period of anxiety, enduring until dawn, until my parents came back. Only when I was sure it was my parents' voices did I relax a bit. I opened the bedroom door, and their return brought me great comfort. That morning, I told my parents about my experience throughout the night. They carefully checked every possible point of entry but found nothing unusual. Their words were filled with concern, and they also criticized me, saying that in such situations, I should call the police instead of facing the fear alone. I was sure that the curtain movement and the footsteps in the middle of the night were real, and all signs suggested that it might not have been real, possibly just an illusion, leaving me quite confused. In the spacious and cozy living room of my house, a soft sofa occupies the central position, while the TV quietly nestles against one wall. I have a dog, not only my faithful companion, but also a creature of great spirituality. At night, when silence descends, I particularly enjoy watching TV alone in the living room, leaving only a dim light on to create a special atmosphere as if I were in a cinema. Usually, my dog would consciously come to my feet and lie down quietly, accompanying me as we both immerse ourselves in the plot of the movie. That night, I chose a suspense film with tense scenes and gripping plotlines. As the suspense deepened, I was completely drawn into the tense atmosphere, with every twist in the movie making my heart race. However, in this almost tangible tension, a faint and persistent sound quietly invaded my consciousness. At first, I thought it was just a part of the movie's meticulous design, intended to enhance the viewer's sense of suspense, so I didn't pay it much attention. But as time passed, the faint sound became clearer and even started to interfere with my normal enjoyment of the movie. The sound was neither from the movie nor like the normal operation of any device in my home. It seemed to have an indescribable strange quality, not the sound of wind, nor the rumbling of machinery, but a low intermittent buzzing, as if something was vibrating in the air where a whisper was coming from afar. My dog, my usually quiet companion, suddenly became extremely alert. It struggled to stand up from its comfortable spot at my feet. I was tightly fixed on the air beside the TV where there was nothing, at least to my eyes. I tried to comfort it, softly calling its name, hoping to break this inexplicably tense atmosphere, but it seemed deeply attracted by some force we couldn't see, oblivious to my presence. Then, as I was still trying to discern the source of the sound, my dog began to slowly and deliberately turn its head, as if following something only it could sense. Its gaze finally settled on a fixed point in the living room, the space between the coffee table and the TV. At that moment, I was almost certain that there was something there, invisible to the human eye, a presence only animals could perceive. Following this, my dog suddenly let out a fierce bark, its reaction so intense it shocked me. This instinctive fear sent shivers down my spine, and I jumped up from the sofa, heart pounding like a drum, hastily turning on all the lights, hoping to dispel the suffocating sense of terror with brightness. Suddenly, I remembered a disconcerting fact: the previous owner of this house, a kind old man, had passed away right in this living room. This thought terrified me. I couldn't control my emotions and screamed. My parents hurried downstairs after hearing the commotion, and although they didn't notice any unusual sounds, that night's experience was deeply etched in my memory. Since then, I have never had the courage to watch TV alone in the living room again. The living room at night, once my haven for solitude and tranquility, has now become an insurmountable shadow in my heart. Due to my parents being away on a trip, I was living alone at home for a while. I would often invite friends over to hang out, usually staying late, but they never stayed over at my house because their parents didn't allow them to spend the night outside. At night, the usual tranquility of the house was filled with the laughter and sounds of fun from my friends. We played board games, watched movies, and shared stories with each other in the living room until the night deepened and it was pitch black outside. One by one, my friends left, leaving me standing alone at the door, watching their figures disappear into the night. I closed the door, locked it, then turned and walked towards the stairs, feeling the sense of satisfaction that the day had ended. Climbing the stairs, I suddenly felt very tired and just wanted to sleep. Entering my bedroom, I almost instantly fell into a deep sleep the moment my head hit the pillow. I don't know how much time had passed when a faint sound invaded my dreams. It was like a whisper from afar, yet it seemed to be murmuring right next to my ear. I tried to ignore it, but the sound gradually became clearer, carrying a disharmonious rhythm. I opened my eyes, filled with an inexplicable irritation. I initially thought my friends were playing a prank. Perhaps they had forgotten something or just wanted to scare me. I didn't have time to ponder whether this was reasonable. I just instinctively thought that at such a time, no one other than them would be making noise in my house. I sat up in bed, angrily yelling downstairs. "Quiet!" I expected to hear my friends' laughter, expecting them to appear at the stairway, explaining it was all just a joke. However, my shout was like a stone dropped in an empty room, causing an unsettling silence. The silence was almost tangible, oppressively suffocating. I was frozen there, heart racing, with only the sound of my rapid breathing in my ears. Then, breaking the silence, were not familiar laughs, but a series of frantic footsteps echoing quickly and tensely downstairs, as if someone was hurrying to flee the scene. Next came the sound of a door being slammed shut, echoing through the night, startling. I stood there, overwhelmed by an unprecedented fear. At that moment, I realized that these sounds might not be caused by my friends. I quickly grabbed my phone, trembling as I sent them messages, asking if anyone had come back. The replies came quickly, clear and firm. They had all safely arrived home and thought I was joking. Even one friend seriously told me not to play such jokes, as they could be dangerous. My fear peaked in an instant. This meant the sounds came from a completely unknown intruder. I didn't have time to analyze the person's intentions, only knowing I had to act immediately to protect myself. I quickly called the police and carefully locked my bedroom door. Then hid in my closet. I tried to make my breathing as quiet as possible, but my heart pounded fiercely in my chest, hiding in the darkness for what felt like centuries. Every second was filled with unknown and fear until the distant sound of police sirens offered a sliver of comfort. Only when the police knocked on my bedroom door and confirmed it was safe did I emerge from the closet, shocked and grateful for my timely reaction to the sudden crisis. The arrival of the police brought a sense of safety, but it was followed by the fear and unease of having my home violated. They told me that my timely reaction likely scared off the thief, preventing further loss. Although some valuables were gone, I knew that material loss was not the most important thing. My parents also cut their church and came back immediately to comfort me. Even though I wasn't physically harmed, the incident left me fearful of staying alone at home for a long time.